Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining. Come in, come in, come in. If you have not already done so, excuse me, please invite others to this room, to this live, to this conversation, this much needed conversation, inshallah. And we will get started in a moment. I'm going to do what I've asked of you in sharing it. First, we'll do it on TikTok. There's a certain number I want to get here. And then I will move to Clubhouse and do the same, inshallah. Nadia, thank you so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Lucille. And I'm not sure how to say the other name there. Stevie O, thank you so much for joining. Welcome. And whoever is joining us on, which one is this one? I'm not sure which application someone is following or looking at us here. However, let me close that. Oh, what just happened? Oh, okay, here we go. I hate this thing sometimes. Thank you so much for joining, Shema. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, welcome. All for Huck. Thank you so much for joining. Gemini with twins, if I'm reading that correctly. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Please invite others. Hamdi, I saw Apple something. Thank you so much for joining. All righty. So we'll go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know, my name is Radia, and this is the Radia's Real Talk podcast. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma barik. And today, thank you so much for the hearts. Today is Muslim Women Wednesday. Excuse me. What is Muslim Women Wednesday? Well, first, before I answer that question, for those of you who don't know, let me begin with dua. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, as-salatu was-salamu ala rasulillah. So, Muslim Women Wednesday was something that was introduced by none other than Hanif J. Williams of Muslim But Human several years ago. Excuse me. As an opportunity for us as Muslim sisters to celebrate each other, celebrate each other's wins, acknowledge each other, uplift one another, advise one another, and sometimes we got to admonish one another, right? Because the benefit reminds the believer. And so men are welcome to hear the conversation, okay? However, it is only the sisters' voices that will be heard, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. So I didn't get to share with some sisters that sometimes join our conversation. So let me do that real quick. Let me see. Just bear with me here. Excuse me. And you all can do the same. Invite, inshallah, because only those who come to Clubhouse will actually be audible to where everyone can hear. This is where everything began, and so this is where I choose to allow other sisters who want to speak to be able to do so. So as I was saying, men are welcome to be a part of the conversation, but in listen mode only. Okay, so anything that you all have to say, ask, or suggest, you all can let us know by typing in the chat. Excuse me. Okay, and so typically what we've been doing is we might have a clip, that we share, and not saying that we support any of the clips, not saying we support any of the people in the clips or their way of life. It is only to start the conversation. That's it. Okay. So it may be something from non-Muslims, and it may be something from us as Muslims. Nonetheless, if it's a problem, we want to look at it. We want to talk about it. We want to see if there are solutions that we can come up with, or a different perspective, a different way of looking at it, a different way of solving it, right? Because, excuse me, because for those of you who don't know, we've been doing what I thought was a podcast. And when people aren't familiar with Clubhouse, I always call it an interactive audio podcast. That's the way I described it, and still describe it that way to this day. And so I love it over everything else for several reasons. Why? Because it's in real time. I don't have to wait to read the chat, scroll up, you know, and say you're listening to an island, an imam, a sheikh, right? And there's several hundreds of thousands of people on there with you. And if we're all commenting, if we're all asking questions, engaging, you know, sometimes um, unfortunately, all the presenter has time for is to present the information. They don't have time to go over questions and answers. But say you have a pressing situation, right? And you need an answer right now. It's like life or death, or you don't know how to prioritize. You have difficulty with, which should be the priority, right? And so you need an answer right away, or you've got an urgent situation, right? And so when you're listening to these lectures, you may get your question, your question may be seen, and it may be seen, but it may not be answered, or it may take too long to answer, right? So the reason I love Clubhouse is because it's right there. I don't have to wait for anybody to type. I mean, there are those who prefer to not talk, and so they will type. But someone, anybody who wants to speak, they just raise their hand, come on stage, and they are instantly audible. So I'm inviting, for those of you sisters who want to participate in the discussion, you got to come over to Clubhouse. Yeah, I know. I felt the same way. Downloading another app. But it is what it is. And I mentioned to someone recently, about Clubhouse, and they're like, "You still on there?" I said, "Yeah, Clubhouse has been good to me. Alhamdulillah about it." And we have quite a representation of house members. Alhamdulillah about it. So I can't let that go. You all are why I still do what I do. So I can't. Okay. Alhamdulillah about it. So, like I said, sometimes we have a video, which in this case it will be audio, right? Because I'm not sharing a video per se. It will be audible. You all will only hear the actual video. And so we play a video or an excerpt from a video or whatever, and then we discuss it, give our thoughts. Okay. And so this particular video hit home for me because of a lot of this new generation of mothers. And some of you may have seen it, some of you may not. But nonetheless, I'm going to play it. Let me make sure my volume is up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, wait. She's already started. Hold on. I want to make sure the volume is up so everybody can hear it. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to play it and get I'll say this. Get your notebooks ready. Notebooks and pens ready, because there's a lot to unpack. A lot of things that's being said. And, for anybody who knows me knows that each time I play it, and yes, I do play it more than once, because sometimes the room grows. And so, this is my way of resetting, and so I don't have to explain, right? So take notes, write down your thoughts. Trying to keep it calm here. Yeah, let's say that. There we go. And got the Haram police that will be blocked. Okay. So we just had to get rid of you. Okay. So now, and just let me say this before I even get started. Anything that is disrespectful towards myself, towards my way of life, towards Allah, towards this deen, towards other Muslims, towards humans, period, towards blacks, my community, right? I'm not even going to engage you. You're just going to be blocked, period. Okay? I tolerate no disrespect of any kind, no hate speech, none of that, no bullying, no trolls, none of that. Okay? So be sure to write down any things that jump out at you and then share your thoughts of what you think. Okay, Bismillah. There, that part. So, very short, to the point, but again, so many things to unpack. And I would love to know, for those of you who have been watching, who heard this clip, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Okay, am I not live? Hold up, what's this thing doing? Oh, I wasn't even live on here. I'm sorry, Instagram. My bad. So hopefully people will see that on Instagram and join. So for those of you who heard any portion of this clip, what were your thoughts? What do you think about that scenario, that situation? I will wait for anybody that wants to type their answers before I speak, the things that jumped out at me. Let's see. Man, I'm so sorry, Instagram. I'll play the clip again so that you all can hear it before I, give my little thoughts that I had. Let me get these likes up, these hearts, and I ask you to do the same. Please share this conversation, this live, these hearts by double pressing or pressing several times on your screen. Alerts those that are on TikTok that there is a live conversation taking place, and it may pique their interest to come in and check it out. So if you all can help me with that, I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to keep that going for just another minute or two. I want to try to get these numbers up in here, inshallah. Okay, let's see where we at now. Not quite where, almost. Okay, I'm almost where I want to be for now. I will continue to do this throughout until I can get others to join. Let me see who else I can invite while I am doing that, if I can. Okay, there's that person. And one more. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so from time to time, I'll invite others. See if we can get them to join. Pique their interest in the conversation, inshallah. Almost at the end of this here. And I'll stop for a minute. And so now I'm going to go ahead and play the clip again, inshallah. So as I instructed, for those of you who didn't hear me, my suggestion is get a piece of paper and a pen so that you can write down whatever thoughts come to you as you hear them, because there's several things um, to this piece, in my opinion. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, nobody came on Instagram yet. Okay. Bismillah. All the stuff I do for you as a mother. Really, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I wanted stuff. If all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I'm taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid. Well, how you gonna ask for my birthday money that I got for my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away? Well, you can't put the PS5 anyway. We know the lights in our house. First of all, I'm an adult. Yes. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue of I need help, you help. But you need to spend time. And you need to spend money on your bills. Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place. You just stay in a child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your rent. Okay. Very boisterous young people, children. So, for those of you, again, that have heard the clip, what are your thoughts? What do you think about what was said between the children and the mother? Let me know. Go ahead and type that in the chat if you don't mind. I'm trying to monitor it just so everybody knows. Ooh, wait a minute now. Where you think you're going? Put you, whoa. Let's put you right. No, that's not where you were. Move me right back there. Come on. Okay, there. Sorry. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Um, so this is Muslim Women Wednesday, and we are discussing parenting, in terms of us as mothers, as women. Saida, assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Africanas. Thank you so much for joining, and for the hearts, thank you so much for that as well. Um, you couldn't hear it clearly? I got it as loud as I can get it. And yeah, I decided to do it on this particular my iPad. It's not the loudest between my apparatuses, but let me try that again, especially since I see others have joined. Inshallah. Okay, let's try it again. Bismillah. All the stuff I do for you as a mother. Really, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I wanted stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid. Well, how you gonna ask for my birthday money that I got for my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away? Well, you can't put a PS5 anyway. We know the lights in our house. You said you be doing this. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue of I need help, you help. But I'm so you need to spend and you need to spend money on your bills. Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place. Oops. Oops. Okay. So go ahead and share your thoughts. I hope, were you able to hear that a little better? Inshallah. So the first thing I want to address, this is mainly for non-Muslims, and then there are some Muslims who don't know either. So for the Muslims, benefit reminds the believers. So we as Muslims, we don't participate in the birthday thing. We don't acknowledge it. We don't celebrate it. Why? Because it's based off paganism. I ask you to do your due diligence and research that for yourself. It's based on paganism. And for that alone, we are commanded by Prophet Muhammad, who received his instructions from Allah, right? That we are not to imitate the kuffar. We are not to imitate paganism. Okay. For any imitation, we are one of them. This is a good way to become one of them. The more practices of paganism that you participate in, the more it removes you from your practice of Islam. And in some cases, you could possibly be committing shirk, which is the biggest form of biggest sin that Allah will not forgive. Right. So I just want to make sure I wanted to share that. Okay. And so the other thing, well, this is still going on about the birthday thing. So for the thing about birthdays, you know, if Allah lets each person live, right? Each year, it's like you have to outdo the previous year. So that means spending more money or doing more things, right? And so, um, a lot of people do, you know, they're extra, it's extravagance, and the whole nine. And in these celebrations, these particular observations, one can go broke, right? And so clearly this child knows something. I feel like this child has an old soul. This is what I would say of this child. They have an old soul. They must, in the absence of whenever, if this mother is out as much as this child points out, goes out, that these children are left with possibly their aunts or their grandparents or a grandparent, uh, someone definitely older, I would think, than the mother, actually. And the reason I'm saying that is because when children are left with older people, quite often they tend to grow up faster, and they're wise. Between that and then, maybe the experiences that they encounter throughout their lives helps them to grow up faster, right? And so it seems like the child, unfortunately, sad to say, has more sense. And we know common sense isn't so common. So it sounds like this child has more sense than the mother, knows what prioritization is. Now, it's possible that in these older people that these children might have been placed with, that there's been some discussion among their elders, or the people, and they have heard the conversation and and took it in, and they're like, what, that does make sense. That if she prioritized, if she stopped going out so much, if she stopped trying to live such a lifestyle, and prioritized and knew how to manage her money, and decided not to be extravagant with a gift if she's going to give one, that she would have the money instead of I mean, what was the point? You bought a gift that was supposed to be for a child. And of course, for those that do celebrate birthdays, oftentimes, you know more than not, they're receiving money. And so rather than um uh even buying a gift, or telling the child, what, this is a bad time, I don't have the money, you know I get a lesser gift, or when money's right, get it, at that time, or whatever, right? Rather, and then also what was mentioned, um was that income tax. Apparently this child knew about income tax. This is money back that that was taken out of your pay, and then given back to you at a later time, right? And so apparently this child knew that the mother had received some income tax, and so the child is questioning, well, what happened to that money? Why do you have to renege on having given me a gift, a birthday gift, or given my brother a birthday gift, um, and then ask for money that was given to me, that was my gift, to pay for a bill that you're responsible for? Now, mind you, for those of you who don't know, that may not have heard this clip before, this child is 13. This child is 13. Okay. So there's that. Um, I do see others have joined us. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. So I would love to hear your all's thoughts. You are more than welcome to chat it up, inshallah. Oh, we're spinning. Okay, trying to get this thing to stay still. Okay, so I would, with your all's permission, I will play it again, Sam. Right after I do my due diligence of inviting others, and I ask if you don't mind if you could do the same. We want to have a discussion. It is Muslim Women Wednesday, so we want to hear from you, sisters. And like I said, brothers, you're more than welcome to participate in the discussion, but yours has to be written for sure. Okay. Any suggestions, any questions that you have, takeaways, ahas, that kind of thing, let us know. So like I said, this is packed with many layers. Many layers. Okay. Uh is it Saliha? Am I reading that correct? Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Oh, and if you all are not following me, I do ask that you follow me. The ultimate podcast channel is YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to that, please do. It's Radia's Real Talk Podcast. And I'll put this plug out here too. I am looking for sponsors. So if you have a business and or a nonprofit, and you wouldn't mind a collaboration, I would love to be able to have a conversation with you so that we can meet each other's needs, inshallah, right? So be sure to you know share, invite. This is a discussion, for those that might be willing to invest or donate or become a sponsor of an episode or several episodes. Excuse me, they want to see what they're paying for. They want to know what they're paying for. So most of the time when we have Muslim Women Wednesday, we have at least one other person that joins the conversation. Um, at least, not all the time. Much of the time is just me, which is fine. I don't, I prefer the engagement, but it is what it is, right? So, and if there's a topic that you think that we need to discuss, please share that. If there are guests that you feel that I should have, let me know and share with them, our information as well, inshallah. So I'm going to play this clip again. Oh, okay. Well, after I read this, that solution would be IMO. I forgot what IMO means. Anyway, if mom has no money and needs to use kids' money, can be done on loan, right? Where mom pays the child back when she's able to. Yep, exactly. Exactly. So I'm gonna play it. Oh, thank you. um, okay, I see others have joined. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to play this clip again for those that are new, that are just joining us. Okay, bismillah. All the stuff I do for you as a mother. I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid. Well, how you going to ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away? Well, you can't put a PS5. You let them know you the lights and I'm out. You said you turn the first off to the down. Say this. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue of I need help, you help. But you need to spend time. I barely need to spend money on your bill. Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place. I'm just stay in a child's place. But you asking my brother to pay your bill. Woo! I don't know how the rest, I don't know if you all can tell, but this is a conversation that's happening inside of a car, probably on the way to the store or to school or from school. Allahu alam. Um, but yeah, I don't know how the rest of that ride went. I would imagine it didn't go very well. Sounds, a little bit like the child is being the parent versus the parent being, the parent, right? Um, I see others have joined. Thank you so much for joining. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. Please share this live. It is Muslim Women Wednesday. We want to hear from other sisters, inshallah. Um, yeah, so parenting, what is your parenting? Um, do you find yourself, especially if you are a single or an unmarried mother of children, uh, do you find yourself, if you don't get the help or as much help as you need from your children's father or the community, do you find yourself in predicaments like this, right? Where you might have, it might be challenging for you to prioritize. Okay, yes, I'm a proponent of self-care, and there's a time and a place for that. If like even me, if I know I have a bill coming up or several bills coming up, my self care is going to have to wait. There's other forms of self care that I can do, um, that so I can still get it in. It can still be part of my practice so that I don't have to completely abandon it or uproot, right? Um, so you all couldn't see. You can't see it. I'm going to see. Let me see. Can I bring? Oh, no, it's not on here. Let me try. Um, what I'm going to do is see if I can get Telegram on here. So the people that are watching me, YouTube and Instagram and all of that. Oh, here we go. Okay. Uh, here we go. Here we go. Whoops. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I'm not on there. Let's download it. Yes, save. Um, 13-year-old refuses to give mother birthday money. Okay. I had to save it. Okay, so now let me go back. What I will do is, let's see if I can do it. I'm saying that, but I don't know. Really, I don't know. Let's see what I can do. Video file. There we go. Yep. There we go. So that is here.
You as a mother. Literally, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Well, how you going to ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away?
Well, you can't play the PS5 anyway if there ain't going to be no lights in our house.
You shouldn't have been going out so much. You would have had the money. What happened to the income tax?
China, first of all, I'm an adult. Stay out my business. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue where I need help, you help.
Going out so much. I'm tired of you going out. You need to spend time with us, and you need to spend money on your bills.
Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place.
Mom, you said stay in a child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your bill.
That part. He wasn't wrong at all. Yeah, the kid had a point. Why did you say I'm gonna play with the kids? Ashley, welcome. Thank you so much for joining, sis. Yeah, I was saying earlier before you came, it seems like the child is. I mean, well, we're in the ends of times, right? Where we give birth to our masters, where it's like the child becomes the parent and the parent becomes the child. The roles are reversed. And I was saying, we know with regards to common sense that common sense isn't so common. And so I was also saying how, it's obvious that she wants to have, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, have a certain lifestyle. You could see that with the nails that she has. Um, and Allahu Alam as to the kind of car. It's probably a Benz or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much for the hearts. And so, if you are one who engages in the celebration of birthdays, which, I talked about as Muslims that we should not, because it is based upon paganism. Okay. And it is not, I didn't say this, but it is not one of the celebrations in which, is talked about, from Allah, from Prophet Muhammad alayhi that, is a legitimate celebration that is acknowledged. There are sects of ours that acknowledge Prophet Muhammad alayhi's birthday, but he himself never celebrated his own birthday. Okay. And so, and I was encouraging everyone to do their due diligence of actually looking into where birthdays came from and why we should not practice it. And I was saying the more things that we introduce into our deen, we could be committing shirk. It could be pulling us away from the deen and things of this nature, right? And so there's that. But just regards to gift giving, maybe it's an akika, maybe it's a nikah, a walima, wedding celebration, the birth of a child, maybe the child graduated, you know, um, becoming a mother, becoming a grandmother, grandparents, whatever, right? Or moving, memorizing Quran, the list goes on, right? So the thing about gift giving is, and if you have a certain lifestyle that you live, and even if you're a unmarried mother, um, raising children, multiple children, you get little help from the children's father or no help at all, whatever the case may be. But yes, inshallah, your child, will live another year, but each month, you have bills, right? And certain bills you already know what they are, and certain bills you may not, but you still work towards making sure that each time you get paid, something goes towards those bills, right? And so I was saying too that it sounds like to me that these children, in the absence of the mother, she probably goes clubbing, right? She probably goes clubbing or shopping or trips, right? And so in her absence, she probably leaves them with an aunt, a cousin, a brother, a sibling of hers, her parents, her aunts, anyone older than herself, right? Not necessarily, but I'm saying that's what I'm thinking it is, because these children understand prioritizing. These children understand that they're being neglected, that the mother is spending more time going out and doing and being extravagant than being at home with them, and then can't pay a bill. You bought a gift that was supposed to be for your child, and maybe this child received some birthday money, right? um and so you're asking for it. Now, she didn't say she was asking for a loan. I would hope she's asked it's a loan, that she would be paying it back. And maybe if she had said that, maybe this conversation would have went a whole different way, right? But nonetheless, it didn't. And so then the other thing she's saying is stay in a child's place, and the child's comeback, right? The child's comeback is, I'm trying to stay in my place, but you put me in an awkward position here. You're asking for my money. It's my money, and you're the adult, and you're supposed to pay the bills, and yet you're asking me for my money. Make it make sense. This is what this child is saying to the mother. And now, right or wrong, if this were a different time, these were different parents, like my parents, and maybe even the parents before them, that child might not have had some teeth. I'm just saying that that's talk back. That's being smart. That's being sassy. And you would have had a backhand, a belt, something, switch, teeth knocked out, you know. So that's how different times have changed. Again, we don't know what happened after they got home and out of the car, of course, but they're in the car, and I don't know why the mother decided to record this so she could be judged and talked about, but nonetheless, that's what we do on Muslim Women Wednesday. And anytime we have, communal rooms, we have clips that Allah blesses me to find. And I said, you know what, this will make a good conversation for us to dissect, right? So I've missed some things. Let me back up here. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for joining. If you are not following, we would love to hear have you follow us. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, Radia's Real Talk Podcast, please do that as well. You came from poverty, so doing $300 nails was top for me. Okay. Leaving my upkept life was difficult. Okay. I should have read that first. Let's see. So I kept my nail money in a jar and used it as my heart led me. Okay. Okay. I think I'm caught up now. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, so I was also talking about self-care. If you all know me, I'm very big on that. But yet, you have these priorities. The priorities are always going to be there, right? And so should your self-care. But I was saying, don't abandon your self-care. Maybe there are other self-care practices that you could do until you have the money that you need, to do both, pay your bill and, do whatever your self-care is, right? So again, prioritizing. So that was my take from it. So anyone else, I do see others have joined. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you are not following, I would love to follow. Typically, just so for those of you who might be new to me, on Muslim Women Wednesday in particular, it's only the sisters' voices that can be heard. Men are welcome in the room. And anything that you want to say, ask, or suggest, you all have to do it, by typing. Whereas sisters, I always invite sisters to, come to Clubhouse. Why Clubhouse? Because Clubhouse has been good to me for more than 4.5 years. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And this is where the bulk of our conversations had begun, especially as it relates to Muslim Women Wednesday. So I'm keeping it, until I see here you have an option to pay. Thank you so much for the hearts. You have an option to pay to use it, and it unlocks other features, but I'm good on the free. But if it gets to a point where the free is no longer an option, I probably will do away with it. I don't know. Allahu alam. But, there are those that maybe can't join the conversation right now that may come back and listen to it later. So I have that going on Clubhouse also. And also for those of you who don't know, I'm also on YouTube, Facebook, my fan page or business page. And then I'm also on Instagram. So Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok all have the same channel, Radia's Real Talk Podcast. So feel free to join all of those. Some of you may just, like one sister was sharing with me, we learned of each other on Clubhouse, and, I had taken a longer than I thought I was going to have to take hiatus. And so, I think she probably was off of it even before then, but nonetheless, we reconnected. She's like, I deleted the app, and I didn't want her to feel guilty. I was like, I'm on, all of these other ones too. So, just use what you got. If you don't want to, download another app, take up more space in your phone, that whole thing, fine. But, let it be known that any sisters on Muslim Women Wednesday, if you want to, want to be audible, you have to come to Clubhouse. That's my rule. um, because I still, unless I set it up to where I have an actual guest, all that's still kind of new to me on, as far as TikTok and having people to speak. And, from time to time, I do have people that come in and talk. The last guest I had was Brother Bilal, alhamdulillah. And so, I had given him the link to join me, on video. And so he joined, and so he was audible on there, and everybody could hear him across all the platforms also. And it would always be that way if I have a guest, unless they prefer only being on Clubhouse. But then again, I still make it so that everybody can hear on the other channels as well. So yeah, but your numbers would be greatly appreciated across all. You don't have to go out of your way, but if you're already using these apps, you know, uh, give us a follow, a like, a share, and things of that nature, and subscribe as it relates to YouTube. And while I got you all here, if you have a business, a nonprofit, and or uh, yeah, a profit or non-for-profit, that you would be willing to become a sponsor of an episode or several episodes, let's talk. DM me, inshallah. Um, and so, um, yeah. So my goal with any of the work that I do is to eventually become self-sufficient. I love being able to make videos and content creation, and I'm just trying to be more purposeful now and making sure that I do just that. That all the work that I do, eventually I will be able to be paid from it, whether it's through sponsorships or whatever apps that I'm on pays me. That kind of thing. So yes, thank you so much for the follow and the hearts. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm gonna play. I have a clip that I've been playing. It's Muslim Women Wednesday, and so typically we have clips that we listen to and we share our thoughts about it, just talking it through. Um, yeah, before I say any more, like I said, every time I play it, something different comes to me. So I'm gonna let for those of you who just joined listen, and I would love to hear whatever jumps out at you, or whatever your thoughts are, or I'm no scholar, so maybe you all have some more knowledge, Dean wise, that I don't in the realm of parenting. Um, Parenting looks different, I guess, in each generation, even though you have the previous generations to draw back from in some respects. So this seems like a very young mother to me, but I digress. Okay, Bismillah.
All the stuff I do for you as a mother. Literally, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Well, how you gonna ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away?
Well, you can't play the PS5 anyway if there ain't gonna be no lights in our house.
You shouldn't have been going out so much. You would have had the money. What happened to the income tax?
China, first of all, I'm an adult. Stay out my business. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue where I need help, you help.
Going out so much. I'm tired of you going out. You need to spend time with us, and you need to spend money on your bills.
Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in the child's place.
Mom, you said stay in the child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your bill.
That part. So, what you think? Tell me what your thoughts are about that clip. Yeah, we've talked about today's parenting. We've talked about birthdays and celebrating them, and how we as Muslims should not be celebrating them. We as Muslims, we don't even acknowledge. Who wants to be reminded that they're getting older? Okay, we all know that. But anyway, We're talking about, we've also talked about living an extravagant life. Adults bringing kids into adult affairs never works. Yes. Right. Exactly. You know, I remember uh, that some time ago, this was, I hadn't been divorced long, and I needed uh, one of my children to babysit, to watch their siblings in my absence. And so it got back to me that this particular child said, "These are your children, not mine." And I was very upset by that. So this is what I proposed. This is what how our conversation went. I said, first of all, I'm the only driver. Second of all, I could take everybody with me, but that slows me down. Um, and I'm doing something that no one else can do, right? And so the least that you can do is watch your siblings. That's all you got to do. Didn't ask the child to cook, to clean. Just watch them. Make sure that they don't get into mischief, because these were the two. These particular children were the ones that got into mischief, if they weren't being watched. And so I said, well, I said, it's not like, and I mean, we don't go out. I mean, the only time that I'm out, it would be over to a sister's house. There might be some events, there might be, I'm into hiking and, parks and, many of you all know I'm in travel. So, trips and things like this, but I always try to include them. I even ask them, do they want to come? It's not like I'm just up and leaving them and I'm doing me, you know, and things like that. And it does sound like this mother does do her, right? Um, but that baby wasn't wrong. Stings a little though. Yeah, yeah. The baby wasn't wrong. The baby was not wrong. Um, and so, you know, Islamically, how, for those of you that may know, how should we handle that? Where the parent might be wrong and that child, obviously knows a little something, something. That's why I'm saying the way that the child or children were responding was as if, in her absence, how they may have been left with grandparents, their aunts or uncles or whatever, right? And older relatives, obviously older than her. And so, you know, and in cases like this, it's very common to hear that, these children have old souls, right? They're wise beyond their years. You'll hear somebody will ask, well, how old is this child? 3 going on 30, like they're, they grown, right? And so, I know me coming up, much of the time, um, when the adults were around, either I was in my room or another area of the house. And then in most cases, there were always other children. So we were always together. But if in the event, that wasn't the case and I was in front of them, I knew not to say anything. I dare not say anything. And my parents weren't the type of parents that we discussed anything anyway. So I wouldn't have, I would have never had to say something like that to either of my parents. Well, they could slap it off the table to catch it. That's why you can't have adults convo in front of the kids. Low, yep, they grow up too fast. Yes. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the hearts. I hope you're gonna follow us too if you're not following, inshallah. Yes, thank you. Barakafik. Fiki. Um, yeah, so and the follow, hey. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, so even like, if there's conversations that I need to have with my sister friends, or and even when I need to have a conversation with my children, because I have many children, if I'm having an issue with one child, I'm taking that child to the side and having that conversation with that child as much as possible. My whole thing is this has nothing to do with the other children, and I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to expose what you may be doing that they may not know about, that kind of thing, right? Um, so yeah, the in our cases as Muslim sisters, there's not too many times where we can go anywhere where, if we're going to go, we have to bring our brood, we have to bring all the children with us, right? And so maybe they can sit off to the side, but then there's still the ear hustle, ear dropping, right? So there's that. But these are things that we need to talk about. What would be the rules? What are the rules? As it relates to parenting. And I was saying that in the time of my parents and probably their parents, that a conversation like that wouldn't, one, it wouldn't even happen. Two, if it did happen, somebody might not have teeth. Somebody might have to get a belt. Somebody might have to get a switch, right? I'm going from generation down. Somebody might have had to be grounded, right? Somebody might not have gotten their allowance for a week or two or a month or whatever. Somebody might have had to do some extra chores. Somebody was talking back. Somebody was being smart, right? These are all things that, I'm dating myself, but these are all things in the Black community that it's common, unfortunately, right? Are we guilty? Are you guilty? You don't even got to answer that, but if you are, I would hope through this example you see yourself, and while you're in it, you may not see it, but using this as an example, like, oh man, I do that. Oh, Allah, astaghfirullah. And you got to change it, right? Or maybe a sister who's doing this exact thing. Are you able to pull her coattail and tell her about herself? Does the friendship end because you checked her? How do you go about checking her? Are you gentle or are you rough? All things to think about as it relates to parenting. So yeah, I just wanted to share that video, get your all's thoughts, and unpack it, pull apart the layers, talk about it. So we see the problem. What are the solutions? How could this particular scenario have gone differently? What preventatively, like even if you are guilty of doing some of these things or all of them, and you see yourself in this example, what are you going to do differently? Preventative, so that there's not even a conversation like this or a situation like this that takes place. So I would love to know your all's thoughts. I do see others have joined. Thank you so much for joining. And welcome. If you're not following, I would love to follow. And if you don't mind, would love some hearts, because that's what that does, is it lets other people know that there's a conversation taking place, and it might pique their interest and they come and check us out, right? Thank you so much. So I'm, because there's more that have come, I'm going to share once again this video, or in the case, because some of you all can't see it, right? Audio, and get your thoughts, inshallah.
All the stuff I do for you as a mother. Literally, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Well, how you going to ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away?
Well, you can't play the PS5 anyway if there ain't going to be no lights in our house.
You shouldn't have been going out so much, you would have had the money. What happened to the income tax?
China, first of all, I'm an adult. Stay out my business. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue where I need help, you help.
Going out so much. I'm tired of you going out. You need to spend time with us, and you need to spend money on your bills.
Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place. I'm
Now,
talking
you said stay in a child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your bill.
Woo, yeah. So being a child and feeling like something about this conversation ain't right. My mother ain't right. And you just can't be quiet. You got to say something. You see your brother, your sister isn't taking up for themselves, speaking up for themselves, or maybe can't articulate what they may be thinking or feeling. And then you got this other child that, I got to bring her up because that's my girl. That, like, again, I'm dating myself. Like D, what's happening, right? This is D. This is D right here. I'm telling mama, and she will tell you all about yourself, Roger, and Rerun, and Dwayne, right? She gonna tell you about yourself. She gonna tell everybody. She don't care that she's a child and these are adults. The only person she did not talk to like that was her mother. But I mean, she did say some slick stuff, here and there. But the bulk of who got her, her tongue lashes was her brother and his friends, right? That's D all over, and I'm mentioning her because I just found out yesterday that she passed. From Allah we came in, unto him is our return. So, but yeah, this got deep written all over it. This is a whole what's happening episode right here. Oh, but yeah, so how do you stay at a child's place when the adult is asking you for something that you have? How do you do that? How do you do that? And then this might, maybe you don't have the answer, and maybe this could be a talk that you can have with your children. Share this video with them. Share this conversation with them. What are your thoughts about this? Just to see what they think, right? Not cupcake. That's all they can. Thank you so much for joining, sis. Mother of cupcakes. All right. Okay. But yeah, so anyone else with any thoughts? I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but again, that's what we do. We ask questions, we examine, we cross-examine, we analyze, and we share, right? So anyone with anything that you would like to share would be greatly appreciated. If not, what we're going to do is conclude, because it is time for me to pray, inshallah. I just want to make sure that we did a Muslim Women Wednesday today, and talked about something that I don't know that any of you all have faced such a situation, and even if you haven't, you might, or one of your sister friends, your companions, just to have, they might, if you have a collective group of sisters. That's all they can, sis. Long time, alhamdulillah. That you can share this conversation with them and see, not trying to put anything bad in the air or whatever, but or what if, right? Because sometimes it does happen. Sometimes we do, as parents, have to borrow money from our children, right? So, but are we doing our due diligence? I like to think that I do my due diligence. My children see me every day between myself and our vehicle. there's no rest. It's always on the move. I'm always hustling, always, out there, unfortunately. So, alhamdulillah, times that I've had to, approach my children, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? They're able, you know, um, and there's no issue. I share with some of you all that were here, the issue that I had with one of my children not feeling like they should be responsible for watching my children. And I said, yes, they're my children, but they're your siblings, and you can't do what I do. So um, let's do this. Since I'm going out shopping, getting food for us to eat, how about you don't eat? How about that? I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's what I did. That's how I said it. And then I reminded this child that yes, we raise you as children, but then there's going to be a time where the children are going to have to be in the position that we were in caring for us. And this is, this is what it could look like from time to time, you know. So yeah. Let's see. I'm not a mom, so who I'm to speak to parenting. I think a lot of it is from the way society is now. Yes, it is. I don't know how long did you hear the clip when I played it, Mina? If not, I gotta let you hear it. Oh, yay! That's all Lady says. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
No, I did not hear a clip.
Okay.
Because I came in, I think I may have come in while right before it went off. I
Okay.
didn't realize my volume was down, so I had to turn my volume up.
Okay. No problem. I'll play it again.
Okay, I was just going to say that I think a lot of it now is society-based, because, when we were growing up, if you remember, all the shows were family-oriented shows. You had Cosby, you had Family Matters, you had Silver Spoons. It was always family. And then as time went on, shows started being more about single parents or teenagers, or just stuff appealing to this idea of I can be an individual. I don't have to be, basically, I don't have to help anybody. I can do all this by myself. And I think that has a bit to play in what we see playing out with our kids. I know, my oldest daughter and I were talking, and she has 3 children, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I mean, but she didn't want her oldest daughter babysitting her 2 younger brothers. The oldest is 8, and her brothers are 5 and 2, I think. And she said, because she don't want her children to have to look after each other like she had to do with her children, with her siblings. And I get it, but and I reminded her, I said, but they are all siblings, and sometimes you're going to need the older siblings' help. You don't want to have them thinking that, okay, you're the older sibling, but you don't have any responsibilities. Because the flip side of that is, I don't have to do anything. So, you have to figure out how to strike that balance. I was like, I'm sorry if I made you feel like Cinderella, so to speak, but that wasn't my intent. I was also trying to teach you how to be responsible, because that's important too. Doing chores and helping to, keep the house straight, helping out with your younger siblings. It's not like you were stuck with them all day, every day, 24/7.
Right.
So, that's my take on it.
Alhamdulillah. I appreciate that. Barakallahu fiki. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip, and girl, you might have even more to say. Okay, bismillah.
All the stuff I do for you as a mother. Literally, I take care of you, I feed you, I cook, I do all that stuff. And all I did, I asked you for your birthday money so that I can pay the light bill. You don't want to give me the birthday money. So I am taking the PS5 back so I can get the money so the bill can be paid.
Well, how you gonna ask for my birthday money that I got on my birthday to pay the light bill? And why you trying to take my PS5 away?
Well, you can't play the PS5 anyway if there ain't gonna be no lights in our house.
You shouldn't have been going out so much. You would have had the money. What happened to the income taxes?
China, first of all, I'm an adult. Stay out my business. When I come to you as a mother and I'm telling you there's an issue where I need help, you help.
Going out so much. I'm tired of you going out. You need to spend time with us, and you need to spend money on your bills.
Leilani, I'm not even talking to you. So you stay in a child's place. I'm
Now,
talking
you said stay in a child's place, but you asking my brother to pay your bill.
Yeah, that. I was saying, for the time that I grew up in and that of my parents and possibly their parents, somebody might not have had teeth. Somebody might have had to get a switch. Somebody might have had to get the belt. Somebody might have gotten grounded. Somebody might have had their allowance taken away for a minute. All these things going, down the generation, what the forms of punishment just for, what they would call back talk. Just that alone, right? So what you think?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I didn't understand everything she said, but I got enough understanding to know it's her talking to her kids something about birthday money and on to the end of it. And I'm like, like you said, at the end of the day, somebody got put out, got smacked, got something. It's like you busy talking to an adult the way you're talking to them about something where it sounds like the mother is in need of something and the child is like, basically, no, I don't really want to give it to you type of thing. And it's like, okay, but this needs to be done or that needs to be done, and how dare you? And whew.
I know, right? The audacity.
It's like, sometimes even today, you have to remind your kids, I pay for that phone, or that whatever it is, I pay for it. It technically is mine. It's not a right. It's a privilege. And I think that's something that kids don't really grasp sometimes. This is a privilege. It's not a right. You're not supposed to have it. Like I've had to tell people sometimes, this is not something you're supposed to have. You're supposed to have clothes to wear, a roof over your head, and food to eat. Anything else is extra. Trust me, it's extra. So you try to, like I said, trying to strike that balance, but without trying to, be like those people who give a gift to somebody and then remind them of it, because Allah talks about that, and the Prophet talks about that. And it's just at the same time, it's like, come on now, we got to work together on this. Like I'm gonna need your help to do a little something here, So it's. The kids be having their thoughts, and I really, really, really think a lot of it comes from society and the way things are in society nowadays, and just what our children are watching and listening to, and even having conversations with our children about the stuff they watch and listen to, so you can kind of get an idea as to what they're thinking about the stuff that they see is really important. And I'm big on trying to watch things with them when I can, and discussing things with them when I can, and playing games with them sometimes when I can, because it's like I need to know what you're getting into so that I know what I need to talk to you about, or what types of conversations we need to have so that we can work on these types of things, because all this stuff becomes part of who you grow into being. And some of this stuff out here is just ridiculous. Like it's insane. It's beyond ridiculous. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere. And it's just everywhere. I think a lot of my kids, my younger children, don't have social media. Like my daughter is 17. Alhamdulillah, she has no social media.
Alhamdulillah.
Either my 14-year-old or my 11-year-old. They might play games or might read online or read comments or whatever, but I'm very grateful that they don't have social media.
Ooh, girl, how you do that?
It doesn't appeal to them.
Alhamdulillah.
Right, even though I have it, I don't really talk about it like that, and I've been trying to get away from it because it's starting to get. It's all Facebook is kind of okay. I really
Mm-hmm.
do know the bulk of the people that I follow on Facebook are people I actually interacted with in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But like Instagram is getting it crazy. It's like there's so many AI based videos on Instagram now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there's so many ads on Instagram. Like
Mm-hmm.
every 2 or 3 videos is somebody advertising
Mm-hmm.
something, and it's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, but no, alhamdulillah, they're just not interested. They're not
Alhamdulillah.
interested.
May
And
Allah
I
keep
don't.
them that way. I mean.
And I don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Like I don't be trying to promote it. I tell people real quick, if you don't have social media, don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
not get it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it. It suck you in, and you don't need to be sucked into that type of world.
Right, right, right. I agree. But yeah, so some of the things I was saying before, of course, you can't see the video, but girlfriend, she gets her nails done, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I would only guess that the kind of nails she has, that she's probably playing. What do I say? She's probably paying. Gosh, anywhere from 150 up for that. It's the acrylic nails, and she's got jewels on them, and I mean, it's extravagance. And to the point of the child, and it seems to me, based on just what the child is saying, this mother likes to go out. She likes the club, and and then of course, there's the birthday thing. And I just was reminding Muslims that we as Muslims, we don't, and should not, because I do know some Muslims, eh, they're gonna turn up in their way, when it's their birthday or their friend or family members' birthdays, but we need to do our own due diligence. We are not a people who blindly follow. So, we have to do our due diligence and research. Birthdays are based upon paganism. And I was going into that, saying how that we keep introducing so much paganism into our deen. It takes us away from our deen, and we could be committing shirk as well, and the list goes on and on. And so, and then for those that are into this extravagance, and the gift giving, even if you are observing these birthdays and these kinds of celebrations, and it's extravagant, each time you have one, you have to outdo the last one. So that means more money, more embellishment, more extravagance, more money, and so, to the child's point, like, if you stop going out so much, now of course the child didn't get to the nails, and she probably gets her hair did, also.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the child was trying to correct their mama.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's kind of almost even worse. Like, why is your child checking you
Right.
of what you're doing? And then yes, I have a point. Like, you asking me for my stuff when you doing all the stuff you doing, and you're not even taking care of your responsibilities.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
different if
Hmm.
you're trying to take care of your responsibility and you asking for money, but you want to party and them nails, girl. I kind of understand what you're talking about because I've seen them type of nails on people, and I literally wonder what kind of jobs they have.
Hmm.
I'd be like, what? Where do you work where you can have nails that look like that?
Hmm.
Like, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. But that's kind of a people gotta. What is she doing? Is she's doing all this stuff and then asking her kids for money? Like they don't see you doing that stuff and then asking them for money, and you expect them to be okay with that? Mm.
That part. And then, like I was saying, if she's doing that kind of partying or trips, I would say it could be trips, it could be, hanging out with the girls, anything like that, right? And
Yeah.
and if you're doing that too often, just like the child was saying, you need to spend. They don't like it. You go out too much. We want to have some time with you too. We need more time, family
Right.
time. You
Yeah.
know. So there's that too.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting video.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
That's exactly why I chose it. So many things to unpack.
yeah, that has a lot of dimensions to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Hey,
alhamdulillah.
I'm gonna need to go. I
Yeah,
was
me
going to
too.
come in a minute and speak, but I'm gonna need to go. Inshallah, I gotta go to
Same,
Pilates.
same. I was getting ready to close, but I stayed open for you. It's been a minute. Alhamdulillah. I'm so glad you were able to help me out. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Barakallahu
Alhamdulillah.
fiki.
Wa fiki barakallah.
Uh,
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And so, for those of you who have joined, if you have not followed this channel, please follow the channel. If you use YouTube and you don't mind, adding one more channel to, who you subscribe to, we'd love you to subscribe. The channel is Radia's Real Talk Podcast. If you at any point are willing to sponsor or donate, whichever you want to do, or do a mixture of both, we would appreciate that as well. If you have a business, a nonprofit organization, and you would be willing to sponsor an episode or several episodes, let's talk. DM me, inshallah. And also, if there are any guests that you feel that I should have, please let me know who they are. Let them know about the work that we've been doing as well. And, we're big on storytelling. So if there's some stories that, you know, our brothers and sisters, have in their arsenal, or that they are a good storyteller, we want to know who they are, and we want to invite them, or you can invite them, however it goes, inshallah. So there's that. And yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. I hope you all take it and, you know, have the conversation with your own family or your own sisters and brothers. You might, there might be something in there of benefit to you all too, for you all to discuss among yourselves, your community, inshallah. And if you have more that you that wasn't discussed, we want to know that too, inshallah. So I will be I'm gonna do my version of this particular video. You know me, if you know me, I'm extra, so I'm gonna do a little extra with it. And and so then you all can come back and then comment on it as well, inshallah. But I want to thank everybody for joining. Again, if you're not following me, I would love to follow. And if anybody wants to patronize me, I do have both a TikTok shop, not on this account, it's on Pad Specialist. And I also have a Amazon store under Radia Spot Essentials. So if you're willing to patronize a sister or share some links, please do that. I also have a travel business, Exquisite Travel Deals. If you would like to or are willing to patronize me, or if you're looking for a great opportunity to be able to position yourself so that you have generational residual income, I got you. Just let me know, DM me, you're interested, you like more information, and I got you. So for now, I'll go ahead and close so that I can pray. Inshallah. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Ameen. And as I always say, be resilient, inshallah, and you all have a good rest of your day, afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. And stay tuned for any upcoming posts as well as conversations, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.